Okay, can you see the screen? So we have started with RDS. Okay, relational database. We have seen the properties. We have created the RDS database. We connected with in the RDS database. Okay, we have seen the multi-Z, multi-AZ read replicas in RDS. Okay, and as we said, uh, there there are six type of database engines provided by Amazon in RDS. One of them is Aurora. Aurora is Amazon proprietary database. Okay, it is not open source database. It is Amazon's proprietary database, and Amazon has provided some different free features in Aurora. So again, it's a RDS. It's a Amazon relational database service, and it do have the same property of other RDS database, but along with that, it has some enhanced features. Let's cover them. Amazon Aurora is a MySQL and Postgres compatible relational database engine that combines the speed and availability of high-end commercial database with the simplicity and cost effectiveness of an open source database. Amazon claims that it is very fast and highly available for commercial one of the commercial database in industry. Amazon provide up to 5 times better performance than MySQL database and 3 times better performance than Postgres database at a much lower price point while delivering the similar performance and availability. So in RDS you have seen MySQL and Postgres SQL engines are available, but Aurora is created on top of MySQL and Postgres database. So Amazon has taken the open source MySQL database and they have enhanced the performance of MySQL or Postgres SQL. Amazon RDS manages your Amazon Aurora database, handling the time consuming tasks such as provisioning, patching, backups, recovery, failure detection, and repair. You pay a simple monthly charge for each Aurora database in you use. So again, as RDS has, we have talked about the administrative task which we when you are creating a database on premise, you have to spend a lot of resources and money to just maintain the database. But we have discussed in detail that in cloud, if you are using RDS, all the administration tasks are being handled by Amazon, which comprises of provisioning, patching, backup, recovery, failure detection, and repair, and so on. So this again, Aurora is a RDS database. It comprises so all this task will be handled by Amazon. So, but Aurora is not uh, come in free tier. It's not a free database. It's a licensed database. It you have to pay for to use the Aurora. So, what are the properties or what are the information basic properties or basic features Aurora provide? So, the storage by default with the starting Amazon Aurora, the storage starts with 10 gigabytes and it scales in an incremental of 10 gigabytes up to 64 terabyte. So when you start an Aurora instance, so similar to when we start an RDS instance, the default storage we get is 20 GB. Okay, and it is automatic scale up. Similarly here in Aurora, the starting hard disk, the underlying EC2 machine required a storage volume that will start with 10 gigabytes or 10 GB. And if you stores your data and you start the space on your disk starts getting full, so Amazon will automatically increase the size of your storage at an incremental of 10 GB. So starting you will get 10 GB, then it will add, you will add 10 more GB, it will be 20 GB, 10, add 10 more, it will be 30, 40, 50 and so on. The compute resource can scale up to 32 CPU and 244 gigabytes of memory. So this is the uh, configuration of your machine, underlying machine. So it can scale automatically. So now this is the important point you have to remember about Aurora. So in Aurora, two copies of your data is contained in each availability zone. So how many availability zones are there by default? In general, we have three availability zones. So Aurora is not specific to one availability zone. We have seen in RDS or EC2 machines, they are running in single availability zone. Okay, one availability zone. But in Aurora, your data is replicated in all the three availability zone. Okay, and in each availability zone, Amazon will keep two copies of your data. So if you have a database and it is of let's say 4 GB data is there in your database. So two copies, one copy in this availability zone, one copy in this, one copy in this, and there will be a second copy also. So the in total how many copies will be there in Aurora database? There will be six copy of your data will be there in Aurora. So two copies of your data is contained in each availability zone with a minimum of three availability zones. So total six copy of your data. This is a by default feature. Scaling. Aurora is designed to transparently handle the loss up to two copies of your data without affecting database write capability and up to three copies without affecting read capability. So Amazon claims that if you lose one availability zone, the write performance will not degrade. If you are losing more than one data availability zone, your read request or read ability will not impact if you are losing three copies of your data. And Aurora will automatically replicate your data in different availability zone. You don't have to do anything. So backup is already managed by Aurora. Yes, 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 yes. It will try to create uh, at least two copies in three, at least two copies at least in three availability zone. It will, yes, yeah, no, no. This is a property. Okay, Aurora is okay. Aurora storage is also self-healing. Now, what is mean by self-healing? So data blocks and disk are continually scanned for any error and it will repair. So you might have seen that in advanced computing, so they are creating some hash mapping and they are creating some algorithm which will keep on scanning your data, and if a block is corrupted, a segment of your data is corrupted, it will be deleted and the copy that, let's say this is your disk and this part of your disk is corrupted or the data on this disk is corrupted. So what Amazon does, Amazon Aurora, it will scan the disk continuously, and if they find that there is some problem with this part of the data, they will delete this data, and the other part which is deleted, that will be bring from the other availability zone, and it will be repaired. So it will replace the corrupted data, just like things happen in a human being or a living organization, that if anything is problem, it will be deleted and it will be repaired using another data which is stored in other availability zone. Okay, this is the again, and it is automatically, we don't have to do anything. Now we have talked about read replicas. Remember, while learning read replica, I have told you that Aurora read replicas are different as compared to RDS. How many read replicas are there in our RDS by default? In RDS, we have 5 read replicas, up to 5 read replicas maximum of a given database. But in Aurora, you can go up to 15 read replicas. So you can create up to 15 read replicas of your database. Again, read replicas are not free. You have to pay charges for each read replica you are creating. Okay. So there is a comparison between read replicas of Aurora and MySQL. You can see number of read replica up to 15. Replication type asynchronous. We have talked about it. It is asynchronous, but the time is in millisecond. In MySQL read replica, it can take a couple of seconds, but in Aurora, it's millisecond. Performance impact is very low. Replication location in region, within region. So read replica, you can't create cross region. It is within the region, but in MySQL, it's a cross region. We have seen that. Okay. Act as a failover target. Now this is important. So till now in RDS, we have talked about that read replica will not act as a failover. It is not act as a secondary. But in RDS, sorry, in Aurora, your read replica can act as a secondary database. Okay. Automatic, this is the failover. Automatic failover, no. Okay. In Aurora, it is yes, but in MySQL, the failover is not supported by read replicas. Okay. Now backup and restorations. So backup are always enabled in Aurora database. Backup does not impact the performance of your database. You can always take snapshot with Aurora. Snapshots mean manual backups. This also does not impact the performance, any performance on your database. Okay, you can share Aurora snapshots with other account. Amazon Aurora automatically maintain 6 copies of your data across 3 availability zone, and will automatically attempt to recover the database in the healthy availability zone with no data loss. Till here, anybody has any question on Aurora, the properties of Aurora? So again, Aurora is chargeable service. It doesn't cover in free tier. I will just show you that how you can create Aurora. It's similar to RDS machine, the way we created the RDS. The next part is Aurora serverless. We'll cover that. Any question till here? So for exam point of view, you just have to remember the properties here. So just go to create database. You can see Amazon will always try you. By default, Amazon will click on Aurora, they will give the first preference to Aurora. So there are two type of Aurora in database. One is MySQL compatibility and Postgres compatibility. Okay, if you scroll down, all the other things are similar. Now you can see it is not coming in free tier, dev, production or dev environment. So Amazon has created Aurora database on top of MySQL database. MySQL database is there. They have improved. They are saying that they have done some engineering on top of MySQL, and they have created Aurora database. Okay. Now you can see all the features are same. Give the name, username. Okay, database name, your login name. Okay, standard Aurora. Now you can see the database. EC2 machine. It is R family R6. Multi-Z is enabled by default. VPC selection or subgroup subnet. Security group you can select here, similar to what we have done yesterday for RDS. Same. There is no change. Additional configuration. Okay. Everything is similar to RDS. But remember, Aurora is a chargeable service. If I just click on create, Amazon will start charging me for this database. Aurora is not in free tier. Okay. So if you want, you can always, for practice, create MySQL database, and it is coming in free tier. Now, Amazon has came with a new feature called Amazon Aurora Serverless. What is mean by that? So I will show you one feature in Aurora. Amazon version that support serverless. So now you can see there's a feature called serverless. Now anybody knows what is serverless? What is mean by serverless? So if I select this one, okay, just go here. Right now I have to select the database, right? I have to select the EC2 machine for my database. But if I select the serverless, and if I go here, now you can see serverless option is there. Now here I'm not selecting the EC2 machine. I'm just selecting the minimum CPU and the RAM. Minimum CPU and maximum CPU and the RAM. You can see the RAM is 16 GB, 8 GB and 64 GB. So what do you mean by this? What do you mean by serverless? What do you mean by serverless? So till now, while creating EC2 machine, while creating RDS database, we are defining underlying hardware. We are selecting the underlying hardware that we required 1 GB RAM, 2 GB RAM, and if we require more storage, more RAM and CPU, we have to spin up a new machine. We can't increase the RAM while running the machine, right? In EC2, while running the EC2, can we increase the RAM? There was no option. But here, you're not defining the RAM. You're not defining the RAM. You're not defining underlying hardware. Okay. So this is called serverless. That means if you are selecting 1 GB minimum, so it is giving, sorry, 1 ACU, it will give 2 GB. Okay. So by default your database will run on a minimum RAM, that is 2 GB, which I have defined right now. Okay, as the load increases, as the load on your RDS machine or Aurora machine increases, Amazon will automatically allocate you the extra RAM, not storage. I'm talking about RAM, the memory. Okay, let's say right now you are running a database, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, your traffic increases drastically. On average, your traffic was, let's say, 100 users were there, and at 8 o'clock the users number of users increases from 100 to 300. So you require more CPU, more RAM. So in the case of serverless, Amazon will check, okay, the load on the system is increasing, let's increase the RAM, let's allocate extra RAM to your database. So this is serverless. I'm not defining any underlying hardware. That is a concept called serverless. So we have a alternate of serverless in EC2 as well, which is called Lambda. We will cover that in our further classes. But right now in Aurora, Amazon has created given you a feature called serverless, where you don't have to specify the underlying hardware. As you are running your application, if Amazon feels that you require more CPU, more RAM, it will automatically allocate that up to 64 128 GB, which you have defined. Okay, any question? So Amazon Aurora Serverless is the on-demand auto-scaling configuration for MySQL compatible and Postgres SQL compatible Aurora database. Aurora Serverless DB cluster automatically startups, shut down, and scale capacity up and down based on your application needs. This is the main feature. So it will automatically scale up and scale down as per your workload on your database. A serverless provision a relative simple cost effective option for infrequent intermediate or unpredictable workload. So how serverless helps you? So let's say you have started a machine with 10 GB RAM, 10 GB RAM, but over the day, over you find out that your load which is running on your database can be handled by 4 GB. Okay, only a fraction of a day, only a fraction of a day, you find a spike in the traffic. Apart from that, on average, 4 GB is good enough for your database. So that means you are wasting 6 GB of your RAM. You are paying extra money for your database. That is 6 GB. You are paying extra. The amount of money you are paying is extra for 6 GB. You are not utilizing that. Agree? So that in that cases, Aurora serverless is a good option, where if your database required 4 GB, Amazon will allocate 4 GB RAM. If your database required 10 GB, that time it will automatically scale up the resources and it will allocate you 10 GB. And when your load is decreased, it will decrease the RAM or resources back to 4 GB. Is it clear? Yes or no? So, what are the exam tips for Aurora? 2 copies of your data are contained in each availability zone with minimum 3 availability zone, that is 6 copies of your data are kept. You can share a Aurora snapshot with other AWS account. Three type of read replicas, three type of replica are available with Aurora. Aurora application, Aurora has up to 15 read replicas. Aurora replica, MySQL replica, and Postgres. Okay, this need to be updated. Automatic failover is only available in Aurora replicas. Automatic failover is only available in Aurora replicas. Aurora has automatic backup turn on by default. You can also take snapshot of Auroras. Use Aurora serverless. Use Aurora serverless if you want a simple, cost-effective option for infrequent, intermediate, or unpredictable workload. This is all about Aurora. If you have any question, please let me know.